Hi, I'm Rocco Spencer. I'm a retired United States Army officer living here in Poland. My wife and I have a small farm in northern Poland that we're turning into a living history site for the Napoleonic period, and I train companies in leadership. My knowledge of Poland before I came here was limited, obviously, to my contact in Chicago with the Polish community there, and also the reading that I've done. The reading that I've have in my library about the Napoleonic period, about the campaign in 1939 when the war started, these were the things that I knew about Poland. Coming here, I didn't know anything about Polish culture, I find out, because the culture that has developed in Chicago or in the United States for the Polish community is completely different than the actual culture here in Poland. So I had to learn the cultural differences that we have in order to be able to accomplish the things that I wanted to do, even simple things from establishing friendships. Poles have such a rich history in the world. In the United States, we have Kosciuszko and Pulaski, who fought in our Revolutionary War. They helped us win our freedom in America. And these are two gentlemen that I think are tremendously important to both American history and Polish history. I have read a lot about Piłsudski, Marshal Poniatowski, the Polish troops that served under Napoleon, and all of these different readings and different pieces of information have led to me to have a very deep pride in the history that we have in our country. Poles in the United States, in Chicago, I would say, are generally stereotyped on a comical side as being very loving, having a passion for bowling. And the joke was, if you want to know who the groom is at a Polish wedding, look for the guy in the clean bowling shirt. But on the other hand, in Chicago, there's a very good stereotype. The Polish community there has a good stereotype for doing very, very high quality work. When you hire them to put floors in your house or do doors or windows, which are the things they specialize in, they're always done very well. And everyone is always saying, oh, who did that for you? In the Gmina where I live, one of the things that concerns me very much is the local people are without hope. And I don't see, in my opinion, anyone trying to give them that hope, to develop them as Polish citizens. They're our brothers and sisters. They're the same as all of us, and they deserve the same opportunities. Sometimes they need a push and sometimes they need a helping hand, but I think we still need to do that for them. And I see, in my opinion, people that are trying to recreate ancient Poland, where you have the nobles and you have the peasants. And I find this very hard to accept because I don't fall into either group. I don't want to be a noble, and I am definitely not a peasant. And I think this goes back to the American Revolution, is we saw ourselves as something that could stand by itself and be counted, and we didn't have to be on the bottom or we didn't have to be on the top. But right now in the place where I live, and I see this in other parts of Poland that I visited, there are the ultra wealthy, and then there are the people that are either trying or leaving the country, which is even more of a disaster. Look at how many of our young people, their biggest aspiration is to get their education and then leave for England or for Ireland or to go to America or to go and work someone else. Why are we allowing the assets that we're growing to go to another country? This is like having a garden and growing food, and then you starve while you give it to someone else to live from. We need to let the young people in this country grow and find their roots here. Let them develop, give them opportunities, and not stand in their way. We have a system, I think, that just again is a residual of the last 60 years that Poland has been through, where new ideas are not accepted. And these young people are filled with new ideas, but we're allowing them to go somewhere else rather than these ideas to take root here in our own country. Well, I say this very often, but I think Polish women are the finest export product that you have. Because I've been around the world, and I believe the Polish women, percentage-wise, are the most beautiful women in the world. They also I guess to use an American phrase that may not be very nice, but they also know how to package the product. They dress very well. They are very in touch with their feminine side, which I think is something that American women, for the most part, have lost this ability to do. I have a famous quote that I love dearly because my dear wife is the living example of this, but Frederick the Great from Prussia told Catherine the Great at one time that if you want to get anything done in Poland, talk to the women. And my wife is the living example of that. But I've met very, very many women here in Poland that are very strong, that raise their children very well. And I think there's some lessons that the ladies in the United States could learn from them. I've never seen a word that has SZ, CZ, WZ, YZ in the same word. And my tongue is not conditioned to turn this way. And no matter how many times I listen to someone pronounce this word, I will still destroy it, trying to say it myself. When I was in the Army, the joke was whatever country we were in, if you could get directions, if you could order beer, food, find out where the bathroom was, or talk to the police, or talk to women, you were considered fluent in that language. You didn't need to know anything else. So in that particular case, I'm fluent in Polish and I have no problems here. Well, I have to say, as far as Polish cuisine is concerned, my number one love are pierogi. I can eat pierogi like a machine. And this is not necessarily good for me because I have to watch my calories, but if someone sets a bowl of pierogi in front of me, they had better have taken what they wanted before they put the bowl in front of me, because they will be gone and gone quickly. Polish meats, in my opinion, are seasoned in such a way that I've never tasted anything like this anywhere else in the world. And again, I can eat Polish meat of just about any kind for hours with no problems. I am a carnivore by nature, so eating meat is not a problem to begin with. But Polish meat, I could eat an entire cow in one sitting and not even stop to breathe. Ciasteczko, the cakes, chocolate. Chocolate here in Poland is addictive. My wife and I will go to the store and we'll buy 4 or 5 of those very large bars of chocolate. She'll come into my computer room the next day and say, "Where's the chocolate?" And I give this look like, I don't know. But of course, I haven't been smart enough to take the wrappers out of my garbage can because I've eaten all 5 bars in one sitting. The United States Army has many faces around the world. We have the face, obviously, that we see. I loved the 20 years that I spent in the United States Army. I think the most amazing thing for me is I'm one of those people that refuses to grow up. So being in the Army and being an infantry officer, I got to play with the coolest toys and do the coolest things, and somebody else paid for everything. So what more could I ask for? My fuel, the things that went boom, the planes that I flew in, someone else paid for that. So I got to see many places. I joke with my wife, there are places in the world that I want to go back to with her and see them as a tourist, because I didn't see them at all from where I was at. We would either go in by airplane or arrive and be sent to the field immediately. So I would see either jungle or sand, meet some of the local people, which I always found interesting. But I think the United States Army, my life in the United States Army, I still believe, no matter what the political issues may be above the soldier, I think the American soldier is one of the biggest-hearted soldiers in the world. He still cares about local people. He still cares about children. He doesn't want to see them hurt. He doesn't want to see people that don't have freedom. He believes in these things. Now, whether above him these are the reasons that he's sent to the places he goes to are irrelevant to him. He knows why he's there, and he knows what he's fighting for. Our site, which is Academia Napoleońska, is located in Jehowo, Poland. It's for educational reasons. And what we have done, my wife Kasia and I, is we have recreated, in a small way, garrison life for a Napoleonic soldier, because we know from the historical documents that 1 French officer and 63 men were stationed at the farm that we own. We have the barracks, we have the commander's office, We have muskets for drill so that they can see the soldiers doing muster, I think is the Polish word for it. When people think of the Napoleonic soldier, they only think of Waterloo or Borodino, these huge battles that these men fought in, and they lose point that this is only one day in this soldier's life. And what we're trying to show are the other days when he was training, working, maintaining his equipment, learning, being taught to read or taught to write. We have the ability for children to come there and touch these things and actually experience them rather than just read about them in a book. Pozdrawiam internatu Wirtualne Polska. Greetings to the internet users of Wirtualne Polska.